So the hard thing in Latin America is to make people understand, okay, maybe this ton of waste you didn't produce, but let's go to the landfill. There is something yours in this landfill, you know? So in the end of the day, we demand food, we demand we demand plastics, we demand food, we demand electronics. Let's say, when we demand, people offer to us. If we don't buy bad stuff, okay, they will stop production, right? But we continue to buy. We continue to move the wheels of consumption.
You are listening to Rethinking Climate. I am Asia. We are a youth-led nonprofit, and we investigate how the climate crisis is spoken about. So today we're very pleased to have Marcelo Cairolli with us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you a lot.
So Marcelo, you have many roles in your life, and you're an experienced person in recycling, in circular economy, and the whole sustainability, and especially your mission, since you speak from Brazil, is to change how things are there. So maybe you can start by telling us a little bit about yourself and also about your mission.
Okay. My name is Marcelo Cairolli. I am born and raised in São Paulo city in Brazil. And I am an industrial engineer with specialty in plastics. But my life was driven basically for electronic industry. And during my life in electronic industry, I was presented to environmental because I worked for companies that are recyclers of electronics, And because of that, I saw many new things and a new horizon that nobody knew in Brazil. And we are talking about 2006 when I started to work in recycling in Brazil. And in that time, there was no reverse logistics, there was no logistics, there was no loss, there was no nothing. We were really, a lot of landfilling, bad landfilling. So I started to see, first of all, okay, I love this subject. And I started to read, to make classes, to know this, starting for electronics, because this would be what I'm working with. And then in the middle of the way, I knew people and organizations and start to engage in organizations that start to speak louder and louder to government to start, regulating environment. The first big result of that was the 2010 solid waste law that finally give us a light in the tunnel regarding starting for something. It was a big law, and after that we get more and more organized. So after the solid waste law, we have the sanitary law. We have other laws that concern about environmental and concern about the actual situation in Brazil. Just to give you an introduction, Brazil, we just recycle 3% of the whole electronic waste generated. In Brazil, there is 60% of the country served by sanitization. 40% is not served. So there are many, even if Brazil is the top 10 economy in the world, there is a dilemma. But we are underdeveloped in several areas. So we have urgent needs to grow, to teach people, to make people conscious that there is an emergency, there is things, because, sanitization problems and electronics problems generate diseases. Diseases overload the health system of the country, which is a real reality right now, So there are several things that have consequences. So I am the director of Agenda Urbana Brasil, that speak loud exactly regarding this. So we have a great we have groups of work that work in several areas: sanitization, electronics, plastics, batteries, and so on. So we could drive and we could go to in the cameras of congressmen that makes the law, so we can try to interact with them so they do better laws. So in the end of the day, I have 16 years of this job, and I learned a lot, and I'm still learning regarding all the environmental concerns we have in Brazil and also Latin America.
Which is a very important thing to always keep learning, and definitely we can make very good use of your experience also today in this conversation. So the next question that comes up, so we speak about climate action quite a bit, and one question is, what do you think we can do better, especially when we have to understand that inequality doesn't help environmental progress, doesn't help climate action? Can you tell us how we can improve that? And what are the challenges in doing so?
Yeah, I believe the very first action is work to adopt the nature solution based. Okay, so for example, São Paulo City has 15 million people. Okay, has 7 million cars. So what happens with this environment? When I was a kid, there was a small rains in the winter, etc., and the winter dropped it to 0 degrees Celsius sometimes. Now the lowest temperature in São Paulo City is 10 degrees Celsius. Okay, because the city, when I was a kid, had 3 million people, then grew up in 30 years to 40 years. To 15 million people, three times more. So the city grew not in the good shape, and we have a lot of asphalt. We have little green, a lot of asphalt, and then this changes because the water, when we have the rain, without land for the rain to penetrate, and asphalt covering everything, all the water goes to the rivers, make big floods, and then you need to construct solutions. Like we call big swimming pools that are big reservoirs of water, that try to contain the flood. But again, this is not solution based. We should have, for example, poroso, asphalts that can make water go, not
the sides, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, John, I don't know the name. In Portuguese, is poroso. And then we have this situation. So we should apply this. We should apply, small water treatment solutions in the whole city, not big ones. We have maybe 4 or 5 big ones for the city. But you have a very complex system of water to go to this big 4 or 5, and we forgot that we need also to feed the reservoirs of potable water for the population. So we need to reorganize everything. So solution based is, for me, the first step. Use more friendly to have the houses, make the asphalt more water permitted, that can penetrate and feed the earth, and trees and so on. We humanize the city. Second of all, smart cities. City needs to be smart, needs to generate data for the mayor and the people to better administrate the cities. People in Brazil, there is the politicians. What do they do? We need to invest in hospitals. We need to invest in schools. We need to invest in more streets. But nobody gets in. Hey, we need to plan. We need the cities to be smart. We need the cities to produce data for us. We need to know how much waste to generate, because it's a mess. People just keep spending money. When you don't plan, when you don't have data, you spend money. spend more money, because you overspend because you are spending blind, and this is what happens in the cities normally, people
But
spend.
why does it happen? Why do you think this happens?
Because let's say the mayor over there, and what the mayor does, the mayor has the auxiliaries that they should be work in their zones. Let's say São Paulo is 15 million people. It's for you to cross São Paulo is 40 kilometers to cross the whole city, So you need to have people that can understand their neighbors, understand their regions, and give the information to the mayor. Hey, we have this situation here. We have a lot of flood. Okay, then once good information arrives to the administration, they can plan. Okay, let's prioritize. I have a budget. Let's use the budget wisely, But then everything is an emergency. So there is a hole in the east side. There is a subway we need to end in the other side. There is 20, 30, 40 problems. And then the mayor, hey, please, let's, spend money here, spend there. Hey, the budget was 20 million. Now it's 40. Oh, you need to put 40 there. And the money is going, without a plan, without information to arrive, without the administration to administrate like companies in some way, prioritize. Okay, we have this 200 problems. Okay, what we do first? Then we do next. Okay, the budget ended in the 131st problem. Okay, the rest we're gonna tell the population go later, but these are, and then we finish. We start, we finish, and then we don't accept over budget. If the guy tell me it's 20 million, you do with 20 million, and then so smart cities, information about waste, about water, about everything that can help the mayor to take better decisions, to plan better, So joining solution-based with a better plan of budget, with a saving money, you can use the money to produce more good wellness for the city, You can do, for example, health. We have a very bad hospital here, and we have a other that's new. And then, hey, okay, people, for 2 years, we're gonna move you from this hospital, public hospital, to the other, because we need to close this and refurbish. Today, people refurbish hospitals with the patients inside. Do you understand? So this better planning and need to keep the population informed. Smart cities does that, And so this is another thing we are working in the environmental side. I told several city problems that have and don't have to do with environmental, but environmental also organic waste collection. All the organic waste collection in Brazil is contracted by the cities. So the mayor pays for a company, that's a big company, to do the collection in São Paulo City. The Campinas City, where I live, is another company. So, but the thing is that, okay, we have how many collectors we need? Oh, we need 20. No, for a city, 1 million people? No, wrong. So the mayor never has information or good budget or good thing to plan. So there are parts of the city that are well served, and there are the suburbs that are not well served. And this causes in the suburbs are closer to trees, rivers that are still unpolluted, and then waste start to grow these parts. The coast cities. Now, in 2018-19, people start to take more action regarding plastics in the beach, regarding plastics wasting the city, because it's critical for the coast cities. If you don't take care about waste when you go to, if you don't tell people and you take care about waste when you go to the beach, this makes a mess, and this goes to the sea, and this goes to where. Several islands of plastics, waste everywhere, and so This is another action we are doing separate. There is a specific group of action on the coast cities to see what they are doing to serve consultants, to be as a consultant, to tell them, okay, let's produce data for you. Let's teach you people to generate data. Let's, and then when some mayors see the data, no, in my administration, no possible. Yes, it's possible, but it's not your fault. It's several years going. So instead of you try to find guilties, let's solve the problem. It's another. People today hunt witches, They hunt people. Oh, he has a fault. He did wrong. Let's take forever to sue the guy. No, let's solve the problem first. Then we see what we do with people. We always, everything is money waste. We need to direct the money to the right actions. So as I have 32 years administration and I have 16 years environmental. So what I do, I decide to engage using my knowledge of the administrator, of company administrators, and organize several issues, try to help people to take better decisions.
So what the point of view that you're putting is very important, especially when it comes to agreeing overall about who's the bigger role, who's the bigger person in really making a difference. What my impression is that it's sort of somewhat easier in countries within the European Union to say we're privileged. We can decide as a population, even citizens, to make a difference because we can. But I imagine that in countries like Brazil, it's not as easy. People are worried about more important things like food, like health, like their own family, like living standards, which of course we do have similar issues here, but we can define ourselves somewhat in an easier position to really say, this is an issue, let's go to the mayor and protest. Now, exactly. What can you tell us about that? Like who's the bigger person here? Who can really make a difference, especially in Latin America?
Okay, the culture here is still the old culture. Okay, try to imagine Europe in the 70s. Okay, or in the end of 70s, beginning of 80s, when people see a ton of waste in the street and tell, hey, somebody needs to do something like this. Turn around and go to the other direction. It's not my problem. It's the other problem. No. What my thought is everybody's problem, because everybody, including me, sometime in my life, drop a waste in the wrong place. Didn't find a basket to put chocolate or to put something like that, or I was driving and just threw in the window. So everybody was responsible for that ton of waste there. Here in Latin America, people buy because it's beautiful, not because it's practical, because people need it. In poor countries, people like to show a big car, even if they are living in a shack. It's culture. It's not bad or wrong, but it's evolution that needs to happen. So, for example, in Brazil, the solid waste law is now 12-year-old. Okay, only in 2021 there was a second law to reinforce the old law with more assertivity with people. Who pays? Until for the last decade, we discussed it. Oh, the company says, if you tell that I am irresponsible, okay, I will charge you in the product this work. Okay, and then the government, no, but you cannot do that, because then the people won't buy and so on, and they will tell me I'm guilty, and then people don't accept raising prices, people don't accept raising taxes, and the problem is there. In the end of the day, since we demanded, for me, the most correct way is, okay, manufacturers are responsible because, okay, they offer the solution, the solution is not environmental friendly, but I bought it. So I have part of this. I'm not 50% maybe, but I have part. So yes, you need to charge me, and then I choose. Okay, let's say the laptop. Let's say a laptop company. Okay, they charge Marcelo. Okay, this laptop costs €1,000. I'll charge 1,050 euros because of the waste per unit I'm going to spend. If there is a competitor that charges 1,030 because they have a better way, his product is more friendly, he has better solutions that don't mess with the environment, I buy for 1,030. And this creates a healthy competition, where everybody is interested in make this recycling more friendly to people, because this is part of the cost of the company. So,
and you say we can apply this reasoning also to plastic. So the future
yes.
plastic is trying to reduce the quantity, or do you think we can find a different version of plastic that wouldn't be, environmentally concerned?
The two things. When plastic was created, environmental passed very along of the chemicals of plastics. But one thing we learn is to make infinite different kinds of plastics. So there are solutions to make recyclable plastics instead of non-recyclable plastics. Okay, so in one side there is an industry that can research better, all kinds of plastics. But if everybody in the world put the same objective, it's recyclable. If it's not recyclable, you don't do it. Simply don't do it. We find another solution. And then once this is done, we go to the population and tell, okay, Mr. Population, we have two situations. One situation is from now on, you're going to receive just recycling, and the percentage of the recycling in the cost of each product is X. So the guys, when you pay a product, you're going to pay recycling as well. So the companies are fully responsible for the plastics they generate to make a deal. Now, the most important, what we do with the mess we created. What we do with the mess we created. Everybody needs to sit down at the table and tell, okay, guys, we need to collect plastic in the ocean. We need to clean the coast. We need to clean the cities. We need to clean the landfills. Because if you put in the landfill, you're going to stay there forever. And you know what? This is not acceptable. Now, let's put in the table and see the size of the bill and see what we do with this bill. So sounds like a dream, sounds like this will take forever for people to do that. But I am a do guy. Okay, we can discuss forever in UN. The little girl of 16 from Sweden can tell, blah, blah, blah. But we need to, sit down and, okay, guys, we have a mess here. What do we do with this mess? How we solve this mess? Oh, we need to put boats in to get all the plastic from. Okay, how many boats? How many years? Somebody to follow, and UN to lead countries. Everybody gonna pay $1 to make this happen. It's a consortium that's paid by everybody. I don't know the solution, but I believe the best solution, you need to do something. People discuss, but it's still there. In Brazil, after the pandemic brought a very good thing. People started to say, hey, I'm fed of people telling promises. Now I'm going to see, I want to see what they're going to do. Forget it. So the politicians are under pressure because they need to produce, they need to see, because if they don't see, there is social media, there is, the news, there is a lot of complaints they get from everybody, and this can cancel their careers. So now they need to really put effective actions. So we need to blow this up. We need to tell the society, we need to tell people, guys, we need this. This is not a joke. This is, reality. We're gonna die in the plastics in the ocean. You're gonna swim and you're gonna swim on plastics, you know.
And we don't want that, of course. Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
and what to do with these plastics? It's all mixed. A lot of it's not recyclable. Energy generation. Let's implement energy generation. Okay, there are several places with problems of energy, you know, so you implement. Oh, it pollutes. No, we can create plants that don't pollute, but burn the plastics and generate energy through water, vapor.
Water plant.
Yes.
The water plant.
Yeah, the vapor. Like
the
atom plants that use the atom energy to create water in evolution to supply we can do the same with plastics, you know, waste to energy. So for the things that are mixed, that are mass, that are contaminated, etc., waste to energy. You know?
So do you think that there's too much of an negative image has been put into plastic, like plastic seen as the bad guy, while maybe we're just not approaching it pragmatically enough?
Exactly. The situation is there is no way to get rid of plastics. Period. The guys of the money want the profit. Okay, and the plastics makes good stuff. For example, if you don't have plastics that make cars only on iron, your consumption of fossil fuels will increase to the roof, you know? So cars are lighter because of plastics. Things are better because of plastics. Now, we need to have rules about producing and people being responsible to discard the plastics in the right way, you know. So I'm not against plastics. I just want plastics to be better projected to be recyclable, and then we need to take our action, as we need to take our action for everything to do better on discard, separate, segregate. You never mix. I don't know Italy, I don't know, but my sister tells in Italy you take a penalty if you don't separate organics from recyclable and segregate several recycles. And you have one thing that is very important: traceability. So when you buy a sack, you buy
there's a microchip on top of it. Yes.
And then people associate your tax ID payer, your identity with this chip. So if they see your chip in somewhere, you're gonna pay.
Fines.
You're gonna pay fines. You know, we need to implement this in the whole Latin America. We don't have this. We are not even close. You know, so again, there are many problems. We are maybe not so. We don't have a lot of money, etc. But you know, again, we spend wrong. We can spend better. We can plan better where to spend, so we can make money last, and then we can do actions. Maybe our actions, maybe your solution for our actions are too expensive, but we have creativity. We can create our own to do the same, to do different. You know, so. We are still too passive, not active in our actions.
Why do you think that is?
Because the culture in Latin America is still waste has no value. This waste after my door is not my problem. If I put my waste in the pathway and somebody pass this, I don't concern. You know, people don't people don't feel this is going to hit them later on. And this is starting close to, and in Europe, this is more advanced culture on that, because, you know, it started earlier. People started concern environmental earlier. We are starting, as I told you, in the mid-2000s.
What could speed this process up? To discover what Marcelo replied, stay tuned for the second half of this interview.